Part 5, differentiating using a combination of rules. As the title suggests, in this part we're going to differentiate functions that require use of several of our rules in the same problem. Okay, the most commonly missed rule is the chain rule. And now that you know what's the most commonly missed rule, well, try not to miss it. Another chain rule associated issue is that often one or more common factors will appear in all parts of the solution. These common factors have to be factored out, okay, so that your answer can be simplified enough to be considered correct. Okay, so look at the examples below just to get an idea of what's going to be involved. Okay, so number 1, your first thing we're going to do is we're going to notice that, hey, there's a quotient going on here, but we can't use quotient rule just yet. Okay, that 6 has to come down, and you get 2t minus 1 over t plus 2 all to the 5th. Now we have to differentiate the inside, so now we have to do the chain rule. Well, the chain rule for this is a quotient rule. Okay, so it is the bottom times the derivative of the top. Okay, derivative of the top is just 2 minus the top, 2t minus 1, times the derivative of the bottom. Okay, well, that's just times 1, all divided by the bottom squared, so t plus 2 squared. Okay, so that's the rule. Now we have to, all right, simplify and do some factoring. Okay, the first things, we're going to look at the top here. Okay, so that this part is 2t plus 4. Okay, and then, okay, timesing 1 doesn't really do anything, so we don't have to worry about that. But that negative is going to distribute to both parts. So that's going to be minus 2t plus 1. Well, 2t minus 2t, hey, that cancels. And 4 plus 1 is just 5. Well, that's really nice because that part then just simplifies to 5 over t plus 2 squared. Okay, so that's kind of nice. Now, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to notice that, look, there's a t plus 2 squared on the bottom, and there's also a t plus 2 here. How we do this with fractions is, remember, this 5 belongs to the top and to the bottom. So watch this. We're going to write it like this. So 6 times 2t minus 1 to the 5th over t plus 2 to the 5th. Okay, so we're going to separate that fraction out, times, remember this was just a 5, over t plus 2 squared. Okay, so that's okay. The 5 and the 6 multiply, so that gives us 30. 2t minus 1 to the 5th. And then, oh, look, they're both t plus 2's on the bottom, so it's going to be a t plus 2 to the 7th. And there is our final simplified answer. Okay, for B, we can see that this is a product rule. See, they are multiplying. So for product rule, it is the first chunk, so x squared plus 1 cubed. Okay, first times the derivative of the second, so times 2 minus 3x to the 3. Okay, and then chain rule the inside, so negative 3. Okay, first times the derivative of the second plus second, 2 minus 3x to the 4th. Okay, second times the derivative of the first, so that's going to be 3x squared plus 1 squared, and then chain rule that part, so times 2x. Okay, now we do some simplifying. The 4 and the negative 3, that makes negative 12. X squared plus 1 cubed times 2 minus 3x cubed plus, okay, so the 3 and the 2x makes 6x. Okay, 2 minus 3x to the fourth, and x squared plus 1 squared. Okay, now our strategy here is we're going to notice, look, there's an x squared plus 1 in each chunk, in each term, right? We decide where the terms are by that plus sign. There's a 2 minus 3x in each chunk, and then there's that 12 and the 6x. So we have to factor out as much as we can. Okay, so between the negative 12 and the 6, there's a common factor of 6. So you can pull that out. You can actually pull out the negative if you really want. I'm going to choose not to. It's really not a big deal. Okay, so you pull out the 6 from both of those. Okay, now x squared plus 1 cubed, x squared plus 1 squared. Remember, you can pull out or factor out the one with the smallest exponent. So that's x squared plus 1 squared. Okay, and then you have the 2 minus 3x, and the smallest exponent in both chunks is a 3. Okay, so now I'm going to write big square brackets to say, okay, what's left after we factored all that out. So remember, factoring is just a fancy word for divide. So we go negative 12 divided by 6. Okay, well, that's negative 2. Okay, we had an x squared plus 1 cubed. Okay, we factored out an x squared plus 1 squared. So remember, you just subtract exponents. So 3 minus 2 is 1. Then a nice consequence of chain rule is that the exponents will always be different by 1, which means we pull out or have left an x squared plus 1 to the 1. Now, we really don't write to the 1s ever, but that's okay. All right, so that's the first part. So then plus, okay, 6 divided by 6 is just 1, so we're not going to write it. Okay, we still have that x left over, right? That x didn't go anywhere. Okay, 2 minus 3x to the fourth, we took out a 2 minus 3x cubed. Okay, so that's going to be a 2 minus 3x to the 1. And then we have this x squared plus 1 squared, x squared plus 1 squared. So that whole thing just factored, so we are done. We close the square bracket. So now we simplify what's inside the square bracket. So this is 6x squared plus 1 squared, 2 minus 3x cubed. Okay, and then inside the square brackets, I've got a negative 2x squared minus 2. Okay, and then that distributes as well. So I've got plus 2x, okay, and then minus 3x squared. Okay, so again, we can do some combining inside the big square brackets. So you've got a negative 2x squared and a negative 3x squared, so that's going to make negative 5x squared, okay, plus 2x minus 2. Okay, so that's what's left inside the square brackets, and then you have 3x squared plus 1 squared, and 2 minus 3x cubed. So there is our final, fully factored and reduced answer. Awesome. Okay, I guess that's as scrolled as far as I can get. All right, so I'm going to copy this to the next page just because I know that I don't have enough room. Hopefully you guys do on your page. Okay, great. Yeah, we want to save that, sure. Sorry, you usually don't get to see this part. Alright, so now we'll insert that last picture. There we go. Alright, so move this kind of up here. Sorry, it's a little blurry. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so if I want to take the derivative of this thing, and yes, this is nasty, So remember, the first thing we do with square roots is we turn them back into their fractional exponents. Okay, so fractional exponents, so that's going to be x plus, alright, so then x squared plus 1. Okay, so that's to the half. And then big brackets all to the half. Whew, okay, so to take the derivative of this, that first half comes in front. So we get a half x plus x squared plus 1 to the half. Okay, and then that exponent decreases by 1, so that's going to be negative a half. Then chain rule says I have to take the derivative of everything inside here. Alright, so chain rule, so that's going to, derivative of x is just 1, plus, okay, now we got to, that half here comes down in front. So half x squared plus 1 to the negative half. Okay, and then we have to chain rule inside here. Wow, lots of chain ruling. So 2x. Okay, and then that closes the big bracket there. So that technically is the derivative, but you'll only get part marks if you leave it that way. We have to at least get rid of the negative exponents. All right, so let's see how this plays out, see how this works. All right, so negative a half. Okay, so this exponent, he goes on the bottom. So this is going to be 1 over 2. All right, and then, okay, so then x plus x squared plus 1 to the half to the half. Okay, so that's that part, minus, oh, that's not a minus, sorry, that's just my underline of the thing. Okay, so then we multiply by all of this. Okay, so multiplying by 1 plus, okay, so that's also a 1 over 2. Okay, so that's going to be x squared plus 1 to the half. And then, that 2x times is 2x. Oh, look, the 2's cancel. We could have done that right at the beginning. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so look at what we've got left. So we got 1 over 2 x plus x squared plus 1 to the half, all to the half, okay, times 1 plus 1 over x squared plus 1 to the half. Okay, so that looks okay. We still shouldn't have the two separate chunks. We should be combining them. So that's a binomial, so that's going to distribute to both of those pieces. Well, anything times 1 is itself, so we're just going to get 1 over 2x plus x squared plus 1 to the half to the half. I know that's weird. Okay, and then plus, okay, so 1 times 1 is just 1. Okay, and then we're going to get 2x plus x squared plus 1 to the half times, okay, and then x squared plus 1 to the half. Okay, and that is as, oh, sorry guys, I missed an x way up here. So this is going to be an x. Sorry, my bad. Figured that looked a little off. Okay, so again, that just became from that x there, so that x just carries down. And there is our final answer. Awesome. Okay, well, thanks guys. We are done with the derivative rules, or at least the main ones. And so a couple more sections in this unit, and then we're done. Thanks.